listening to Reignite, a podcast about making new friends. I'm Frankie.
And I am Matt, aka Stormageddon.
While traveling across Ferelden, we come across a merchant stuck at a crossroad. Literally. He offers a golem's control rod, but no golem? The warden, an intrepid explorer, always interested in opportunity, takes their team to Honleith, where the golem is said to be waiting for an activation phrase. Honleith has been overrun by darkspawn, though. Once we clear the village, the warden discovers that the code we were given doesn't work. Oh well, better give up. No, I'm kidding. Instead, we head into the only house available to us to fight our way to a group of people hiding behind a magical barrier. Here we meet the son of the mage who owned the golem in the first place. He promises the correct code if we will go after his daughter who ran deeper into the lab. Once we find the girl, we find that she is sitting with her new kitty friend, who is not as harmless as she appears. Once we deal with the demon inhabiting the cat, we can then activate the golem, who it turns out is named Shale and is not under the control of the warden despite the control rod. Such fun. Well, with their newfound freedom, Shale decides going with the warden is as good a choice as anything else.
Yep. It's side quest time. And, you know, this is actually one of my favorites because this is one of my favorite party members. I often go for her right away when I play, but I'm grateful to have her now. And yeah, this is a fun, short little quest where we get to grow our party, bring on a golem named Shale. Before we get to all of that, though, we should, as always, do our check-ins and talk a little bit about where we're at, since Frankie is leaps and bounds ahead of me because you gave everyone their favorite gift.
I gave everyone presents because I'm such a good friend.
So you have here a note on Ogren. I'm afraid to ask what he did now.
So this isn't anything really specific in terms of Ogren. It is about his attitude and the way he is, though.
Okay.
Because I have made it abundantly clear. I just don't like him. He's not fun. Yes. He's not funny. He's not interesting. He's not, he doesn't have a backstory that makes me thoughtful. I just don't like him as a character. And, come for me if you want. Please don't actually, I will cry. But I just don't like him. However, we have this conversation. He tells me to leave him alone. And I'm just like, okay. But I happened to click on him again, and he talks about the experience of being a warrior in Orzammar and how they train you to utilize your rage in battle, but then expect you to keep a lid on that rage while you're walking around in town. So the whole thing with why he was cast out is because he killed someone, right? Killed someone that he wasn't supposed to have killed, and it was just in town. You know, it wasn't something that he was at war with someone. It wasn't someone that it wasn't approving. He just killed someone outright. And because of that, he was stripped of his caste and, nobody respects him and he became an alcoholic, etc., etc. And it really is because Orzammar set him up to fail. And it makes me think about kind of the military complex in a lot of ways, and how we set our young people up to fail by promising them you'll be able to go to school if you just sign away 4 years of your life to your country. And then when they come back, who knows what has happened to them. There's not a strong infrastructure for their care if they've suffered from post-traumatic stress syndrome, or if they've, been grievously injured while overseas. There's just, I have a lot of opinions and feelings about this, and it makes me feel kind of sad for Ogren. I still don't like him, but I kind of understand him a little bit better.
I mean, that's good. I mean, I feel like with all BioWare characters, there's more than the surface level, though it's sometimes hard to see. And I think Ogren is part of the Caden effect, right? This idea that if you look at a character a little more deeply than the surface level stuff that's provided, you can find stuff worth chewing on. Whether it endears you to the character or not is a different story.
I can't believe you just put Ogren and Caden in the same sentence. How dare you?
I know.
Caden deserves so much better.
Ken Shepard is somewhere being upset right now. But I think that Ogren is I don't know if I think he's an interesting character. Like I said, most of what I love about him is that he's voiced by Steve Bloom, and that's endears me to most characters voiced by him. But like, I think ultimately he did seem like a character that didn't have much depth. But yes, you're correct that this does mirror a lot of what we see just in the U.S. and people going to war, or even with our police system.
Yeah, I was also thinking the police system too.
Like you're the people are promised certain freedoms and like things to help them get ahead, but the guidelines for how to treat others and how to do their job well aren't always included, right? Sometimes by any means necessary is taken too far, often. And so I think Ogren falls into this camp of like he was trained to do a thing, but wasn't trained how to then live with that thing
right.
that he's trained to do.
He wasn't taught any coping mechanisms. He wasn't taught like how to manage his emotions. He was just taught how to harness them for violence and not how to like let go of them. So Ogren, a little bit more interesting. I still don't like him. That will never change, but hey.
Yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to like every character, so it's fine.
Did you talk to Liliana?
I mean, I did, but I didn't get anything new from her.
You didn't get this song?
No.
Oh my god, Liliana sings.
Yeah, it didn't happen. No.
Maybe you're not far along enough with her.
Maybe.
But yeah, I talked to her and she was like, "Oh, I was thinking about the Dalish, and this Dalish woman taught me this song about grief, and she said this thing about how death is just another beginning." And then she sings an entire song, and it goes on for 3 minutes.
Amazing.
And I'm just like, oh my god, I'm never playing a bard that sings ever again. Is this what it's like for everyone else at the table? I am so sorry. Like, oh my god, I am so sorry to anyone that I have ever made sit at a D&D table with me while I sang a song.
It can be a little uncomfortable.
It's so much. It's so much. And like everybody's just kind of doing their own thing around the fire while she's singing. And I'm just like, oh, and she's not even singing English. She's singing Dalish. And I'm just like, oh no. It's also not like, all right, we're not up to the game, obviously, but I do want to draw a parallel between this moment and the moment in Inquisition where everybody sings. Like,
Right.
I know some people rag on that moment, but I think that moment's really powerful because everybody's united. And like, even the people who don't have that strong of a faith in the maker, like it's not about the maker, it's about the words and everyone knowing the words and being united in that moment. It's like being at a concert and everybody knows the words to the song and everybody's singing it together. And do you remember when we would go see Harry and the Potters?
Yeah.
Remember the weapon we have is love?
Yeah.
That moment of like unity and all of us singing about the same thing with the same emotions in our hearts, that's so powerful. And that's what I get out of that moment in Inquisition. That does not exist here.
Well, no, because you're being sung at.
Yeah.
And, I adore you so much, but whenever you sing at someone, this is what it feels like from the other side. Because we're not singing together, we're being sung at.
And like, I don't know. I think it's fun to listen to people sing, but it's really contextual. It's really, really
Yes.
contextual. Like, if I just walked up to you and it was like, "Hey, how are you? Like, I haven't seen you in a while." And you were like, "Well, you know, we were talking about this thing the other day." And then you just sang an entire song. I'd be like, "That's unhinged, Matt. Are you okay?"
I mean, it would also mean that maybe we were stuck in a musical.
And I am maybe having a stroke.
Could be.
Anyway, oh, Liliana, girl, I love you. Make her love you. Someone has to.
Right, exactly.
It might be Matt. Who knows?
Well, I don't think so.
Oh,
So, first of all, I told you last time that I flirted with Zevran once.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently that was enough for Wynn to butt in where she doesn't belong.
So
I had this conversation with her.
she also butt in on me and Alistair, so I'll talk about that when you do that.
She's like, do you think it's proper for you to have a public-facing relationship as, you know, one of the last of, a very important force within this world. And I'm just like, what are you on about? What does it matter? And we have this conversation about how she just wants to make sure that it's proper as a Grey Warden that I pursue any kind of relationship.
That's so funny.
And like, I'm sure
it's entirely about Zevran and like the kind of person he is.
Right. But also, like, if she had a similar conversation with you, like, I can see.
Oh, the conversation with me was different.
It was different. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because this, not only is it a conversation because it's Zevran, but I think it's also a conversation because I am an openly queer dwarf pursuing a relationship with Zevran. And it's like, are you really questioning a queer, like, just from the queer coding side of it, it just feels very.
You think she's being a Karen about it?
Yeah, and I think a little hateful, a little homophobic, a little bit.
I don't think it's about being gay, from my memory of.
I don't think it is either. I think because
it's just
I
reading
am
that way.
A field.
Okay.
Yes.
It's just reading that way for you. Yeah, I don't think that's the intention, but I can definitely see that. You know what? The thing is, I've never romanced Leliana because I just don't like the idea of romancing her. She's so religious and it makes me uncomfortable. I'm just like, ugh, no. I'd rather romance like Spy Master Leliana, but they won't let me. But like, oof, big oof. So I actually don't know if Wynn gets all huffy about like you and a same-sex partnership if it's Leliana. So I cannot verify or deny that. But if it's Alistair, she still has something to say. It's just something different, like still judgy, just something different. And she's like, are you sure it's a good idea for the two of you to be together? Like, what if you break his heart? What if, like, it's you or the archdemon? Like, you know, you're both vital to this final battle. And if you have to choose between your love and actually getting rid of the archdemon, what are you going to actually do? Which is valid, but also maybe have some faith in us as people.
Yeah, right? Like, especially since you two are like two of the last Grey Wardens, like you would sacrifice your duties for each other. Like,
right, like if I think about it in terms of myself and John or myself and Casey, right? Would it totally suck to sacrifice my life so I cannot be with one of them? Yes, it absolutely would. But would my sacrifice mean that we save the day and that they get to live and everything is wonderful? Yes. Then I will do it. I will absolutely do it. And, you know, because I know what kind of person John is, because I know what kind of person Casey is, I also know that if I were to choose them over saving the day, it would damage our relationship irreparably.
Right.
So, like, I think it's the same for Alistair and the Grey Warden. Like, if they choose each other over saving the day, their relationship's not going to last. So, Wynn just, like, she wants to play devil's advocate so badly, but not every situation, the devil has enough lawyers. He doesn't need another one.
Yep. No one should play devil's advocate, and Wynn is doing the white lady thing of playing devil's advocate, and I kind of hate it.
Yeah, like, she's making sure that you think about all possibilities. And there is a time and a place for playing devil's advocate, and it is not here about my relationship right now.
I will say that almost despite Wynn, when I went to talk to Zevran after this, Zevran gave his line about, have you ever had a Antivan massage? And because he trained under, I think he says something along the lines of training under workers at the whorehouse where he grew up or whatever. And so you can flirt with him and say, oh, I've never had a massage like that. I would love one. He's like, and if this massage were to go on beyond a massage, how would you feel about that? And of course I leaned into it, and it ended up being the love scene between Zevran and my Grey Warden, which I was not expecting, honestly.
Oh, because Zevran's all about that casual sex.
Yeah. And then afterwards we had a conversation about, well, what does this mean? And I was like, well, I would like it to mean more than just this one time. And he's like, well, you know, for the Antivan Crows, because our lives are so short, we live this life of just enjoying things in the moment, assassinations and seeking your pleasure. And so I was like, well, yeah, but what about love? And he's like, well, I don't know, but I've not considered it.
Love is for rich people, and I've never been one of those.
And so he's like, and so you can kind of talk him into like continuing the conversation, but there's no seeming resolution in this moment, whether you're officially official or not.
Yeah, I remember that about him. It takes him a minute to come around because he's like, ooh, I've never thought about that.
Yeah. As if no one ever gave him the option to think about having a future ever.
Yeah, I love him. He's so good. I gave him a gift. I gave him the Dalish gloves because he tells you about the Dalish gloves that his mom had and that they were taken away from him when he was a little kid. And you find Dalish gloves while you're doing stuff in the Brazilian forest. And I gave them to him and he was like, why are you giving these to me? I already have gloves. And I'm like, look at them. And he's like, holy shit, these are like my mom's gloves. Why did you, what, do you want something? Why? And I'm like, no, it's a gift. And he's like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
He's such a sweet dummy. Like, he and Alistair are on the same spectrum of like sweet idiot.
Yes, I would agree.
They're just different kinds of sweet idiot.
Yeah. One tries to be a lot more poetic than the other.
Yeah. And like Alistair is like, I'm gonna save the day now. I'm a big golden retriever. And oh, you know what it is? It's golden retriever and black cat.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Agreed.
Zevran is black cat boyfriend. Alistair is golden retriever boyfriend. But they have like crossover.
Yeah, they have similar energies for sure.
Whereas Liliana is a orange cat girlfriend, in my opinion.
Yeah, sure, I can see that. The only thing I have left to talk about with check-ins is I got all of those like loyalty-ish quests that you mentioned, like the sword for Sten, right, and the going to see the girl that Ogren likes.
Felsi, yeah.
Yep, and some of the others. So I think giving those specialty feast day gifts got me there.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was like I'm caught up on a lot of that stuff. So when we eventually do those quests, I should have all of them or most of them at least.
Yeah, I think Liliana's doesn't trigger until you go to Denerim.
Yeah, because I haven't gotten anything from Liliana, but I think I have everyone.
Well, did she tell you about Marjolaine?
Not yet.
Okay, so you're not there yet. It's okay. All right. Do I have anything else? I do not have anything else. So let's go to Soldier's Pass.
Yes. So we go to Soldier's Pass, and we immediately see an exclamation point over the head of a merchant named Gros Bois. Gros Bois, but it's spelled like Gross Boys.
It's spelled like Gross Boys, and I'm gonna call him Gross Boys for the rest of the show.
But
he's a gross boy.
He is a gross boy. But
all boys are gross.
Also true. So we chat with him and we find out that he's got a little complaining in him. He came here and things have not worked out. He was trying to get some, do some treasure hunting and explore, and he lost one of his carts, and so then he
lost, I think, a mule or a horse. I don't remember.
Well, so he lost his goods, which he then sent his elf companion to go find, but then also apparently lost his mule. He's just having a real bad day.
It's not a good time to be a gross boy.
No. And then we also find out apparently that he got suckered into buying a control rod for a golem that is nowhere to be found.
He knows where it is, and he also knows the key phrase. He just has to, get himself there. And now that he doesn't have a horse to lead his cart, he's like, well, I don't think that I'm going to be getting this anytime soon. And also, what am I going to do with it?
Right. Not so much it's nowhere to be found, but it's not here, and he's not even there yet. He couldn't get there. And so he offers the control rod to us, and we're like, well, how much? And he's like, oh, you can just have it. I've already wasted enough time and money. Just take the thing.
I put off being like, how much is it? Because I just wanted him to give it to me.
Right.
I was trying to work around it. I was like, I'm not giving you money for this.
Right, yeah. He doesn't actually ask for money anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I was like, what's the point? Why? Why even have me ask?
And so then he gives us the control rod and tells us where to find it. It's apparently in a town called Honolith, which is to the south. Honleith.
I think.
Honolith, whichever. Look, if I say it wrong, it's fine. I mispronounce everything in this game, so it's fine. And he says that we can go and get the golem ourselves and tells us the activation phrase. But he said the reason he also didn't want to go is when they tried to even investigate slightly, they discovered that it was overrun with darkspawn, and they
Yeah.
wouldn't stand a chance.
Darkspawn ruin everything.
But he's like, you look like a capable sort who can handle some darkspawn.
I think he literally says that to you.
More or less. I mean, if we had the gore on, which I don't, I turn it off. But if the gore was on, we'd probably be covered with blood anyway. So that's probably how he knows.
No, thank you.
No persistent gore, thanks. So we are now given the option, and on the map appears Hanleith, and we go. And when we arrive, pretty much as soon as we enter the town, we are attacked by darkspawn.
Yeah, some villagers are running away, and then it's just darkspawn town, baby.
Yep. So we fight our way through the darkspawn to the center of town, and when we get there, after we've killed all the darkspawn, I pew pew.
I just go stab because I have arcane warrior.
Right.
Like stab with my fiery knife. Stab.
But when we get to the center of town, we see a very dramatically posed golem, and we use the activation phrase, hold up the control rod, and nothing happens.
Nothing happened. By the way, did you pick up the gory key?
I did not.
Okay, there's a key that you can pick up, and there's a chest in front of one of the houses. And you use the key on the chest, and you get a cheese knife.
Who doesn't love a cheese knife?
I'm like, why do I have a cheese knife?
Yeah. And so if you look also around this golem, you see a little bucket with some birdseed in it, almost empty, which implies some things, which I think is very funny. But we can't activate the golem, so we continue to explore, and we discover that there is a door to the only house we can go in that we can enter. And when we enter it, we fight more darkspawn all the way down to the cellar.
Yes, to the cellar. More darkspawn. There's just nothing interesting happening. We do get to pick up some, fancy gems that are not useful to us at all until, the very end. But, once we get down to, the main opening of the cellar, and there's all the darkspawn, and we fight all the darkspawn, there's a bunch of people behind a magical barrier. It turns out to be Wilhelm, the mage, his family, or his son, and, what a few villagers he was able to, protect. There's this very funny moment where the son takes down the barrier, and my mage, approaches to be like, huh, that's fucking weird. I'm like, baby, you're a mage. You know how to do that spell.
Yeah, I did that as my dwarf, but I also don't understand magic or how it works.
Like, sweetheart, you're a mage. You should not be confused. This goes really fast because the fighting is not very interesting. What's his face? I cannot remember his name. I want to say his name is Hamish. I don't think it's Hamish, but I'm going to call him Hamish. Hamish is like, my daughter, Amalia, she ran deeper into the cellar. By the way, does it weird you out that this cellar has, fucking cages?
Yeah, it's a little strange.
It looks more like a dungeon.
I mean, it's a laboratory, so maybe they were
Wilhelm,
experiments.
I don't think your dad was a good guy.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think he was a good man.
But Wilhelm, we're told that by Hamish, or whatever his name was,
I don't remember his name,
that his daughter ran further in. He will give you the phrase to awaken the golem if we want, but please rescue his daughter first. Also, he tells us a little backstory about how the reason the golem is out there and deactivated is because it had killed his father. His father insisted on keeping the golem around, and then one day they found him in a pile of broken bones they barely recognized, with the golem standing over him in the pose she is now. And so that's why it's deactivated, and that if we want it, we can have it, but he wants nothing to do with it. So we offer to go rescue his daughter in exchange for the control phrase.
Honestly, I am on the side of the golem. I am suspicious of this man already. I'm like, this man has a fucking dungeon. What?
Yeah.
What? So, yeah. Also, he says that his daughter ran down. He doesn't know how she got through the traps because his father set up traps. Of course he did. The traps are like a couple of demons. which also an indicator.
Yeah,
If you were a good man, you would not have demons guarding your shit.
that's true. I don't have demons guarding my shit.
So, therefore, and thusly, I do not think this mage was a good person, and maybe he probably deserved to be smashed on the ground by a golem who he was controlling and forcing to do his evil bidding.
Anyway, neither here nor there.
Golem rights.
No, I'm with you. So when we get to the basement, we see Amalia talking to a cat who is clearly a demon and wants us to help. If we help free the cat, she will and help her take control of Amalia. We'll be able to leave alive. And so I don't know what you did, but I lied and said, sure, I'll free you and let you have Amalia, lying about the Amalia part.
I hate that we're the same person because I also lied. But I'm going to say, typically, I don't lie in these scenarios because I'm too, focused on my task to lie. Right. I'm too about my own shit. But there is the added influence of this little girl. And I am not going to, risk this kid's life by being that's a demon. What if the demon, tries to attack the girl immediately? I need to buy myself some time.
Right.
So that is why I chose to lie in this scenario, because if there is an unpredictable factor, like a child, then I'm going to want to buy myself as much time as possible. And I feel like lying to the demon is going to get me that.
Right, for sure. And I think, I pretty much did the same thing. I also have lied to children for their safety, or to help protect them. I've never lied to a child just for the sake of lying, but I've told white lies to protect them from things that are either too harsh for them or things they shouldn't have to bear witness to or deal with, those kinds of things that we've all, I think, done at some point or another. And this, I feel like, is in that vein. I will say right now that I had no patience for this puzzle. I remembered it well. I don't like sliding tile puzzles, and so I looked up the solution because I hate all the puzzles in this game. I don't think there's a single puzzle I enjoy. We'll see as we keep going, but I'm pretty sure I hate them all. This one, we had to slide tiles around to make a string of flame go from one end of the puzzle to the other, to the activation thing. It sucks. Trust me.
Yeah, no, it's terrible and I hate it. I've solved it on my own before. I know I can solve it. I just didn't want to.
No, same. I can't be bothered.
I know that I can. I've done it. I just did not feel like sitting there for 3 hours.
Yeah, I played 80 hours of Tears of the Kingdom, solved tons of puzzles in that game. I don't need to solve this puzzle. Done. Of course, once we solve the puzzle, we reveal our true plan, which is to let the girl escape. The cat reveals themselves to be a demon. The girl runs, and then we fight the demon and kill it. And it's a standard kind of demon battle that we've done a dozen times.
Also, Dragon Age, BioWare. Listen to me. A demon that takes the form of a cat is a sloth demon, not a desire demon. Have you met a cat? Have you ever met a cat? Violence? Right. Maybe. I will give you a demon of violence. Not greed, maybe pride, but sloth. Sloth. That is the demon that you pick for a cat.
You hear that, BioWare?
You hear that?
Hire us, BioWare.
Hire you, hire me. It's my idea. Don't let Matt just glide in on my coattails.
I mean, yes. Come
Make
on
them
now.
Come up with their own idea.
I have ideas and stuff. Anyway, once we defeat the demon and we leave, the daughter is reunited with her father. We get the activation phrase, and we go to the golem.
I have one comment about how they write children. They don't know how children speak.
No.
Because Amalia runs away and says, I won't let you inside me, kitty. I won't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, first of all, that's just awkward phrasing. Second of all, I don't think she would even say that. I think she would just scream and run away.
I agree. Yeah. Either that was very on purpose and ew, or it was by accident and still ew.
Maybe we're just bad people.
I mean, that also could be true.
Maybe we're just bad people with filthy minds.
I mean, that could be true. It's totally
One of my
possible.
lecturers today kept repeating the phrase "fill the gap" because he was talking about the gap of research, and I was just like, "Please stop saying that phrase.
Yeah.
Just please stop saying that."
Are we not saying phrasing anymore? Anyway,
Phrasing.
so after we leave, we go to Shale, say the correct activation phrase, and activate the golem, who we then have a conversation with.
I do have 2 other points that I just want to make sure don't get lost. Thank God for not fighting spiders, am I right?
Yes, we fought so many spiders the last 2 missions. No
Because I
more.
saw the spider webs and I was like, if there's a fucking spider in this mission.
Yeah, thankfully the only spider was my spider that I could summon.
There's a spider that I walk. No. Also, I thought it was really cute that he called her Butterfly.
Yes, that is a sweet nickname.
That was adorable. Anyway, Shale keeps calling us it.
Yeah, I don't love it, but I also get it.
Like, this kind of reminds me of a conversation that I had about the pronoun it's.
Yeah.
And it is not my favorite of the neo pronouns because it personally makes me feel uncomfortable. But
Sure.
I know that there are plenty of people who prefer the its pronoun when being referred to. And cool. I don't have to understand it. I don't have to vibe with it. As long
Right.
as it makes you happy. That's the important thing. But also, Shale, I feel like you should be asking me my pronoun.
Yeah.
Shale,
Yeah.
I feel like you should ask me and not just default.
And so we talk to Shale, and we find out that even though Shale couldn't move, Shale was aware of everything that was going on.
Yeah, how horrifying is that?
And, oh, by the way, I brought Liliana, Wynn, and Alistair to this.
I brought my boys and Win.
And then Liliana immediately goes, "Oh my God, that's awful. I can't believe you couldn't move and you just had to endure that." And then Alistair goes, "Also a little creepy that you could watch everyone and no one knew," which Alistair's not wrong.
Had nothing to say. I guess because Liliana said something, Alistair had something to say, but Alistair said nothing the entire time. But yeah, 30 years being captive and watching everything and unable to interact, unable to move, unable to leave. It's just so sad.
It is sad. But when Shale is free and you get to the part where Shale tells you their name, Shale then goes, "Well, what would you have of us? What do you want me to do?" And I went, "I don't know. What do you want to do?"
Well, before then,
oh, yeah.
Shale realizes that they're not under your control.
Right. That's right. Yes.
Which brings me to the moment of what do you ask Shale to do to prove that they're not under your control?
Oh, I don't remember what I asked.
No, I asked Shale to give Zevran a hug.
Oh.
And Zevran was like, "I do not consent."
Oh, I think I just asked her to go, to walk over, to the other side of the area.
You didn't ask her to smash Alistair?
No, though I thought about it.
That was my next one. I was like, no, it'd be funnier to hug Zevran.
But yeah, when she'll ask you, "Hey, wait, you have the control ad. Ask me to do something," and you ask her, and she doesn't do it. She feels no compulsion to do it.
Yeah. And yeah, like you were saying, she asks, "What do you intend to do with me?" I said, I don't know. I don't really have any intentions. What do you want to do?
That's what I said also, and she was like, "I don't know. I guess I could go do my own thing, or I could go with it." And then I said, "Well, I'd love to have you along if you want to come with us." And so she's like, "All right, it's decided. I'll go with you." I was like, "Okay, that was easy."
Do you immediately add Shale to your party?
I do. So I add Shale. Yeah, we're gonna get to my favorite part. So I add Shale to my party, still with Wynn and Liliana, and so then we can leave. I equip her.
Girl squad.
I can also equip her immediately. My favorite thing about equipping both weapons, so you use these crystals you've been finding all game for Shale for both defensive and offensive. And when you equip the colored crystals, those colored crystals appear on Shale, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
But as you're leaving the town, if you have Shale in your party with you already, when you get to the entrance, there's a chicken pecking around, and you walk past, and then Shale stops, and then you hear a cluck, and then you turn around like a macaw.
Blood pool.
And Shale has stomped on and killed the chicken.
And Shale's just like, "I don't know what happened."
Yeah. And remember the bird seed I mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
Apparently, this is one of the chicken offenders who maybe made a mess of Shell in the process. And so
Poor Shale.
Shell
Poor
decided
Chickum.
for Chickum.
I just feel so bad for that Chickum.
Yeah.
Chickum doesn't know any better, Shale.
Well, Shell doesn't know any better either, apparently.
He's just a dumb Chickum.
But now we have Shell in our party, one of my favorite characters in the game and my favorite tank.
Shale also receives one of my favorite feast day presents.
Yes, a pet rock. What did you name the pet rock?
Oh, you gave it to her already?
I
yes.
did. I had it on me, so.
I named it Rocco.
I named it Doofus. So it looks like a doofus.
Well, I named it Rocco because of the Elmo skits.
Yeah.
Rocco is a rock!
Poor Elmo. Can't catch a break.
I know. It just made me laugh so much. I was like, I have to name the pet rock Rocco.
And so now we have Shell in our party.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that. So that's it for this.
Yeah.
We will probably have a few more check-ins before the next mission, but now we've got 3 other choices. We can return to Ostagar, go to Warden's
It's like
Keep.
3 to 4 choices.
Well, right.
So I didn't really include it as a separate one because I wasn't sure what you wanted to do. We could go to Ostagar.
Right.
We could go to Warden's Keep. We could go to Denerim for the Landsmeet. Or we can take the time to, like, investigate our companions' side quests, if we haven't done that already, and then devote an episode to doing that. I kind of think that should come kind of, like, right before the Landsmeet.
Right. I thought we couldn't get one of the side quests. You just said, Liliana's, we can't get till after the Landsmeet.
I feel like that is the case.
Okay.
We can still go to Denerim and not trigger the Landsmeet yet.
True.
Because, like, there's other stuff to do in Denerim.
That's true.
So, I don't know. I think we should either do Return to Ostagar or Warden's Keep next.
I agree, just because they're sort of contained.
The question is, like, what do we feel is more narratively interesting?
I mean, I don't remember the Warden's Keep mission at all, so...
So, the Warden's Keep is brought to us by Levi Dryden.
Right.
Levi is telling us that he wants to prove that his grandmother, his great-grandmother, wasn't a traitor because she was a Warden commander.
Right.
And he wants to reveal the truth of what happened at Warden's Keep.
Right, that's right.
Returning to Ostagar is going back to reclaim Merrick's body and get Duncan's shield.
Right. I mean, I think either of them would be interesting. I kind of am open to whatever you think we should
let's
do.
flip a coin.
Okay. Doing it really scientific today.
Yep. Heads, we return to Ostagar. Tails, we go to Warden's Keep. Tails.
Warden's Keep it is.
Warden's Keep.
So for the next episode, do the Warden's Keep DLC mission. It is in your camp. There's a person you can talk to in your campsite to start that quest. And then we will talk about that on the next episode.
So if you like what you heard here, follow us on social media. We're at ReignitePod on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram, facebook.com/reignitepod, or you can send us an email at reignitepod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter at FrankieBWrites and at FunandGamesPod. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcatcher. It helps us get seen so other people can find us.
We're also members of the Certain Point of View podcast network. You can visit certainpov.com to find more nerdy podcasts, each with a unique point of view. You can also find a permanent invite link to our Discord server on that website and join in the conversation.
I would like to thank Kevin Blood for sending me some money for moving expenses. That was really sweet of you. Thank you very much. I will put that money towards getting myself a new bed. If you would like to help me furnish my new house, you can go to bit.ly/FrankieMoved, or you can just Venmo me a couple of bucks. That Frankie Brad is hella rad.
As for me, you can find all of my stuff still at djstormageddon.com. The best social media to reach me right now, as Frankie said, is the Fun and Games Pod Twitter. If you happen to be on Blue Sky, I'm over there as well at DJ Stormageddon. There is no underscores there. They don't like underscores over at Blue Sky because it's a URL. Otherwise, just check out the other podcasts I'm working on, Screen Snark, Fun and Games. I'm the editor for the audio version of the Game Informer show, which has been a lot of fun. Go check all of that out. Again, it's all at djstormageddon.com. We'd also like to thank Carter's husband for developing more amazing t-shirt designs that you can find at certainpov.com or on the Certain POV Teespring. Also, shout out to Carter's husband, a.k.a. Case Aiken, for making our show art. I know we've said it a few times before, but all of the exclusive and unique show art per episode is designed by Case, with often some input from me and Frankie and screenshots as well. So thank you again, Case, for designing all of that as well.
We'd like to thank Reddick Wade and Echoes of Oblivion for our theme music.
And of course, thank you to Red Spinks for our brand new logo. To see more of his work, you can follow him at ChaosDoesArt on Instagram.
I'm Frankie.
And I am Matt, aka Stormageddon. Remember, Grey Wardens.
In war, victory.
In peace, vigilance.
In death, sacrifice.
Okay, bye!
Are you tired of watching your beloved characters being tortured by careless authors?
Are you sick of feeling like they could have swapped out all of the painful action and the plot would remain untouched? Subscribe to Books That Burn, the fortnightly book review podcast focusing on fictional depictions of trauma.
We assume that the characters' reactions are reasonable and focus on how badly or well they were served by their authors.
Join us for our minor character spotlights, main character discussions, and favorite non-traumatic things in the dark books we love.
Find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcasts.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.